Good day, friends, and welcome back to another episode of 10 Minutes with Kushe. Today, we're diving into a topic that has defined South Africa's political and economic state for the last 30 years, land expropriation and the failure of redistributed farms. Now, I want to start off by clarifying something important. This conversation is about the new policy, actually is partially about the new policy of expropriation without compensation, but actually mainly links back to the previous policy. And the new one, we should take a bigger focus on it tomorrow. Today, we're talking specifically about farms that were expropriated with compensation under the ANC government, where farmers were paid out through often at only a fraction of the market value. Let's set the scene. Since 1994, the ANC government has spent close to 5 billion rand in 5 billion US dollars in taxpayer money to expropriate nearly 4 million hectares of arable farmland from white farmers and transfer it to black beneficiaries. On top of this, billions more have been bumped into grants, training, and infrastructure for these new farmers. Yet, after 3 decades, the results are catastrophic. Over 90% of those farms have failed. Productive land has been reduced to dormant soil, once thriving agribusiness has collapsed, and thousands of jobs have disappeared. Let's take one glaring example. The Xyla citrus estate. This was once the largest citrus plantation in the Southern Hemisphere, a massive 3,000 hectare farm valued at 30 million US dollars in 2003, producing over 3 million export quality oranges over a year. When it was transferred to new owners, the government even handed out a $30 million grant to keep it going. But despite all that support, the farm collapsed. By 2023, liquidation reveals that not even 1% of the original value could be recovered. The buildings had crumbled, the orchards had been chopped down for firewood, and the land was left in ruins. This is not an isolated story. Take Dawn Valley Farm near Isipho in KwaZulu-Natal. This was a highly fertile 2,100 hectare vegetable farm bought by government for just over 1 million US dollars in 2008. Today, the land lies mostly barren with almost no cultivation. Poverty and unemployment in the area have only worsened. Or the SKP mega farm near Brits in the Northwest Province, purchased in 2019. Once a massive productive vegetable farm, now it's in total disarray with no economic activity. Millions of rands allocated to its communal property association were mismanaged or simply stolen. The statistics tell the same story. In 2010, the Ministry of Agriculture admitted that more than 90% of redistributed farms were unproductive. A 2016 Fiscal Commission report confirmed crop production had dropped by 79% and job opportunities by 84%. By 2022, a survey of 529 redistributed farms showed that 75% were completely dormant. Now, people will ask, why is this happening? Government officials and activists often argue it's due to lack of support. But the truth is, black beneficiaries have received more state support than most white farmers ever did in the form of training, infrastructure, and grants. The reality is deeper. Land reform has been driven by ideology rather than practicality. Farms are often handed to people with no farming experience or even the desire to farm.
The Mahoba Tea Estate used to employ over 2,000 workers. The tea plantation is now a shadow of itself. It was once a thriving commercial farm. Shrubs and bushes have now plagued the estate after it failed to make a sustainable turnover. The farm was claimed through Mahoba Community Trust in 2006. The Land Reform Department has pumped millions of rands to assist in keeping the plantation afloat. Organizations representing farmers have called on the government to provide more training to communal property associations. They say this will assist the beneficiaries with the necessary skills to run a commercial farm.
People do not have sufficient skills. You find that people have acquired this land, this farm, because it's their rightful land, but they do not have skills to run the farm.
The Zibidela Citrus, Dindin Mango Farm, and Chivaze Tea Estate were once a productive farms. The beneficiaries want government to assist in resuscitating the farms.
So when people got this thing of land, the farms were maybe up in the sky. And then they started destroying everything.
Agriculture authorities say they will inject more funds to resuscitate the farms.
We have a program called RAVAC, where we are putting money every year, almost 30 million, to make sure that these farms are resuscitated. We can proudly say that Majeje Citrus Estate, as we are speaking, we have partnered with the private sector. We are spending almost 170 million with the private sector. The estate is going well.
Authorities blame infighting within communal property associations on the collapse of land restoration farms in the province. Mahlatsi Palanim, SABC News, Mahob.
Beneficiaries are frequently political appointees, not genuine aspiring farmers. Very sad. And above all, the project is rooted in a socialist framework that undermines private property rights, investment, and free enterprise. If land reform was really about empowering Black South Africans to farm commercially, the government could have started with the hundreds of thousands of hectares of underutilized land in the former homelands. They could have invested in infrastructure and training there. Instead, they destroy already productive farms, and the country pays the price. Look no further than Zimbabwe. Once known as the breadbasket of Africa, it has struggled with food shortages and economic collapse. Ever since their land expropriation drive, South Africa is following the same trajectory. This is not only about economics, it's about the narrative. The ANC's land reform project is built on the idea that white South Africans stole land from Black people. While history shows there were some unjust acquisitions, in most cases, settlers either traded for land or settled in uninhabited regions where farming was made possible only through modern technology. But by holding onto this racialized Marxist lens, the government keeps South Africans divided. It's no longer about productivity or growth. It's about ideology, power, and political control. Here's the truth, and here are the consequences. We lose jobs. We lose agricultural output. We lose investment. And ordinary South Africans, Black and white alike, are left poor. Even scholars become sympathetic to land reform, like Mandla Mua and Victor Tambe from the University of Zululand in KwaZulu-Natal. They have admitted that despite decades of redistribution, poverty, inequality, and unproductivity continue to grow. Friends, South Africa depends on its commercial farmers to feed not just our people, but neighboring countries too. Undermining them hurts everyone. Instead of tearing down what works, governments should be supporting success, encouraging free enterprise, and creating conditions for agriculture to flourish. Because at the end of the day, food security is not about race. It's about productivity, and productivity only comes when property rights are respected, investments are secure, and farmers is treated as a business, not a political slogan. That's it for today's episode of 10 Minutes with Kuhle. Tomorrow, we'll take a deeper look at the new Expropriation without Compensation Act and what it means for South Africa's economy and property rights. Make sure you do subscribe to this channel, share this with your friends and family, and join me again tomorrow. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to also make you aware that, as you do know, I am part of the Truth Report team. And at Truth Report, we are running a podcaster search competition where you are free to actually enter the competition, which basically requires you to shoot a 30 to 60-second video of yourself speaking about anything topical. And then you send that through, or you post it on your social media, and you use the hashtag Truth Podcaster Search, and we will get the video on our side, as well as there are amazing prizes to be won, which is 10,000 Rand cash prize, 30,000 Rand podcasting equipment, as well as mentoring from either myself, Ronaldo House, or Rob herself, or the Sambit, as well as the competition ends on the 25th of this month. So you've got a few more days to go, about 3 more days to go. And the winner will be announced the beginning of next month. So, ladies and gentlemen, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, as well as do sign up for membership. It is as cheap as 20 Rand. You can also send us or pop us an email at minuteswithkuhle@gmail.com, or you can send me a private email to kuhle charles922@gmail.com, as well as you can support the work we do by buying me a coffee. Thank you so much for watching this video. Till next time, keep safe, God bless, and see you soon.